Are Derby County still Championship dark horses? Now, this is a huge question across the course of the EFL Championship because despite a poor start, there is still the opportunity that Derby County are still considered that dark horse. When you look at the squad that they are building and the injuries that they've had, there's definitely a conversation to be had. Now, there is a lot of discussion in terms of that injury situation, in terms of letting a player like Kane Wilson go. But when you look at the signings of Rhian Brewster and Bobby Clark, and you look at a player like Max Johnston, who's just arrived, and Lewis Travis, it's a wonderful position that Derby County find themselves in. And I personally do believe that Derby County are still the dark horses. Obviously, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But there's many different reasons why I believe that. And I'm going to get into that in this full video in just a moment. And we're going to look at the transfers. We're going to look at what John Eustace is trying to do with this squad and how the team may look so much different once deadline day is completed and once the return of Sondre Langas is back within the building. We've obviously got Patrick Agyemang set to start as well over the course of the next few weeks, as well as Owen Beck, who's yet to make an appearance for Derby County. Now, if you have not done so already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Don't forget to check out the likes of Kitbag, NordVPN, and CD Keys down in the description. CD Keys will probably be labelled as loaded, but shall we now get into talking about why Derby County are dark horses? Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets. And all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Now, obviously, to start off with, Derby County have arguably the best manager in the Championship in John Eustace. And I know a lot of people are going to come at this and sort of look at it as in, why is John Eustace the best manager in the Championship? But you've got to look at the positions he's found himself in before. He took Birmingham City from relegation threatened to playoff contenders before being sacked for Wayne Rooney. He then took Blackburn Rovers from relegation contenders to playoff contenders, again in just over a few months. You then look at what he did with Derby County towards the back end of last season, where we were in pretty much playoff form for the last 10 games of the season. Now, don't get me wrong, it hasn't started great for John Eustace this season, but ultimately a lot of that is out of his hands. With a lot of players being injured, Derby County have been forced into different positions and different systems, which maybe John Eustace doesn't really want to play right now, but ultimately he's had to. Now, coming out of this international break, Derby County should pretty much have a full cohort of players. And if the signings of Ben Briatan-Diaz and Patrick Roberts do come through on deadline day, Derby County are going to look in incredible shape. Now, there is going to be players that move out. We've already seen Kane Wilson move on. We've seen Nathaniel Mendez-Lang and a range of other players move on this summer. But there's a lot of work still to do in terms of finding out that system. Now, we've brought in Patrick Agyemang for a large fee to add to that forward line, and we've brought in Carlton Morris, who's currently scored 4 goals in 4 appearances so far for Derby County. You look at the introduction of Rhian Brewster and Max Johnston, you look at Bobby Clark, and Derby County are only going to get better. Now, obviously, as I'm recording this video, Ben Briatan-Diaz and Patrick Roberts' deals have not been completed or announced, so I'm not going to act as if they're here. But if you add them to the squad list right now, Derby County are going to look absolutely outrageous. Now, I know this is really hard for many people to sort of comprehend the position that Derby County find themselves in. But if you go back just 12 months, Derby County's front three would have looked of these sort of options: Jerry Yates, James Collins, Dejan Brown, Tawanda Chiwa, Marcus Harness, Mendez-Lang, Caden Jackson, Tom Barkes, and Corey Blackett-Taylor. And there's a potential that when you're watching this video, Derby County's forward line could potentially look something like this: Carlton Morris, Patrick Agyemang, Lars-Jørgen Salverson. You then look at the other positions. You've got Corey Blackett-Taylor, Bobby Clark, Rhian Brewster, Andreas Weimann, potential for Patrick Roberts, potential for Ben Briatan-Diaz as well. There's also links to Sergi Canos, which may happen over the course of the next next day or so as of recording this video. Now, obviously, you'll know whether they've signed or not at this point, and you'll know what the squad situation is. But I think even with what we've got now as of time of recording, I think we're in a brilliant position. Don't get me wrong, we certainly need in those wide areas. And I do personally believe we also need a little bit of a sitting midfielder. Not necessarily instead of like a Travis or an Ozo, but to sort of add to that sort of... Because for me, I do expect that Ben Osborne will move out the club on deadline day. I do expect that Kenzo Heldmine isn't necessarily going to be sort of in that first team picture unless there's injuries. And Liam Thompson certainly shouldn't be playing as part of that pivot without some proper defensive midfielders next to him. Now, obviously, Derby County have brought in Ozo and Travis this summer and renewed the contract of Liam Thompson. But that doesn't mean that they're stuck in that sort of position. And for me, this squad is going to be outrageous, whether we bring in another midfielder or whether we bring in wingers or not. Now, obviously, bringing in the wingers gives us an incredible amount of depth. And as it stands today, Derby County need to let, I think it's like 3 or 4 more players go if they want to bring in just one player. So it is going to be interesting to see how it all transpires as Derby County manager John Eustace puts this squad together. But I think if you look at the squad that we've got, the players that we've got, there is a huge opportunity here for Derby County to push themselves to become an established Championship side. Now, there is still set to be quite a decent height of turnover next summer, but if you can keep a key cohort of 10, 11 players, arguably your starters, then I think you're in a great position for me. And I think that's why Derby County have moved a Kane Wilson on. I think it's why they've moved a Mendes Lang on, so that they're not looking at them players whose contracts expire in just a year and sort of go, oh, well, we're going to need to replace them if they don't sign new deals. And it puts you in on the back foot as a club, in my opinion. So we are going to have to wait and see sort of how it progresses over the course of the next few weeks after the international break. But right now, as of recording, I think Derby County are in a great spot, and I think there's a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong, but I think John Eustace, if anybody can do it, it is going to be him. So for me, Derby County are definitely still dark horses in the Championship, and in my personal opinion, once we pick up one result, I think they'll all start to fall in place. We've obviously picked up 2 draws in the last 2 games. Obviously, we're still awaiting that first clean sheet of the season, but that will come eventually, and it's going to be a great day when it does. Will it happen versus West Brom on the first game back of the international break? I'm not entirely sure. Will it happen for our first home game against Preston North End as the international break comes to a close? Now, I'm not entirely sure what is going to happen, but I'm sure that you'll let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Make sure you check out the likes of CD Keys, NordVPN, and Kitbag down in the description. CD Keys will be labelled as loaded as they're undergoing a rebrand, but you can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. But I'll catch you now in my next video. Bye-bye, guys. Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice.